Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Lisa Dublin, and today we're going to double down on desire as the very first step towards accomplishing your goals in 2025. So, what if 2025 could be the year that you crush your most important goals? It is possible. I began speaking about this on Wednesday. Of this week. So you want to go check out the lives that I did before at the same time. You can do that on Watch Radio, on Basement Chronicles, the YouTube channel. If you're on Facebook watching me, then you would see the rebroadcast, the restreams there as well. But it's very important that we start from the most elemental things because then you have some kind of way to get from where you want to that very end result. Very, very important. So welcome. If you watch me, Instagram, welcome this morning. YouTube, LinkedIn. Oh my goodness, we're all over. And a special welcome to the Watch Radio family. I've recently started partnering with them. And so far, it's going really well, getting lots of new viewers and new eyeballs on my stuff. So that is good. And also adding value where it's just welcome and necessary. So let's get right into it. I want to start with a story for you this morning. Let me know if you can hear me okay as well. Say good morning. If you're from the Caribbean, okay? When you come into a room, you have to say good morning. You know that, right? You absolutely have to say good morning. So we got to practice here. So when you come in, you say good morning, you say hi, you say hello. Oh my goodness, you guys, that is one difference I think between like being from the Caribbean and like being from the first world, Canada, the US, whatever. You can always tell when a Caribbean person maybe has just arrived, just reached. Like they will come on the train and say good morning when they first begin, when they first get there. Okay. But sometimes these old time traditions, they add to the warmth of our humanity, don't they? I mean, you don't go telling every single person you see on the street good morning or good afternoon, whatever. But that is just the custom in the Caribbean. So if you're coming in here and you're watching me for the first time, or you're a regular listener, watcher, say good morning, say hi. That's how we do it. I want to start with a story about persistence and desire because we are doubling down on desire. And all of this is to get you excited about 2025, God willing, and to help you to start to think of how am I going to crush my most important goals in 2025. On the 24th of November, I will be having another virtual workshop. This one I have been running since 2020. Can you believe that? And it will be on the 24th of November. I'm actually going to put in the comments, I'm going to put morning, Sadi, good morning to you. Let me just put the link in the chat right now. You can perhaps see it if you wherever you're watching me from. Hold on, then Grammarly gets in the way. I'm going to put it up there so you can go and sign up already for this free workshop. It's a goal setting workshop that I do every year to get people ready for the following year. Very powerful, and it really gets you thinking. So we're a lot more, I think, maybe organized now. And so I thought we would definitely begin even from now to let people know about it. It's so important. And that in that workshop, I teach you how to start with desire. I teach you how to start from what you want and why you want it, which is why we want to double down on desire today. This story that I'm going to read is from this book, one of my favorite books. I always recommend it. Think and Grow Rich, the complete classic text by Napoleon Hill. And if you don't have it, get the book. Get it on Kindle, get it hard copy, get it on Audible as well, because I think it's one of those seminal books people always point to as giving them, and it did that for me as well, a consciousness of wealth and a consciousness of how to go about getting and accumulating wealth. It gives you a blueprint for it. I want to start by when they talk about desire in the first few chapters of the book by Napoleon Hill. And let me get to that story because he tells a story, and this is under the chapter on, it's in the introduction. And Napoleon Hill put this story I'm about to read to you. It's very short, so stay with me. I'm going to try to make it as exciting as I can. He has it under persistence, but I want to include it in the talk about desire because I believe it points to both of the things. You tell me what you think, okay? So that part of the chapter is called A 50-cent Lesson in Persistence. Are you ready for this story? We all love stories. So he's talking about a man named Mr. Darby who gave up at least, I think, 2 or 3 feet before he actually found gold back in the day. That man learned that lesson so well that he decided to never give up on a dream ever again. And so you have this Mr. Darby who had received his degree from the University of Hard Knocks, and he decided to profit from his experience. One afternoon, Mr. Darby was helping his uncle grind wheat in an old fashioned mill. The uncle operated a large farm on which a number of colored sharecrop farmers lived. Quietly, the door was opened, and a small colored child, black child, the daughter of a tenant, walked in and took her place near the door. Before I continue, right, for my very enlightened people here, because I was a bit annoyed when I first read this story, calling people colored and just the way he treated the child. So we're going to discount for all of the things because I believe the way that it ended actually makes up and compensates for clearly the racism that you see in the story. So let's discount for that. Let's listen to the principle and let us expect the ending, which is just awesome. So this child comes in, the small black child, the daughter of a tenant. Hey, Jaden, how are you? Walked in and took her place near the door. The uncle looked up, saw the child, and barked at her roughly, "What do you want?" Meekly, the child replied, "My mama says send her 50 cents. I'll not do it, the uncle retorted. Now you run on home. Yes, sir, the child replied, but she did not move. You guys heard that? The uncle went ahead with his work so busily engaged that he did not pay enough attention to the child to observe that she did not leave. When he looked up and he saw her still standing there, he yelled at her, "I told you to go on home. Now go, or I'll take a switch to you." The little girl said, "Yes, sir," but she did not budge an inch. The uncle dropped a sack of grain he was about to pour into the mill hopper, picked up a barrel stave, and started toward the child with an expression on his face that indicated trouble. Darby, that's the same Mr. Darby, held his breath. He was certain he was about to witness a murder. He knew that his uncle had a fierce temper. He knew that black children were not, I just can't say colored children. I'm sorry, like whatever. No, I'm sorry. He knew that black children were not supposed to defy white people in that part of the country. When the uncle reached the spot where the child was standing, she quickly stepped forward one step, looked up into his eyes, and screamed at the top of her shrill voice, "My mama's gotta have that 50 cents." Right? In the face of about to be whipped, okay? This child persisted. Let's see what the result was, which is the moral of the story. The uncle stopped. He looked at her for a minute, then slowly laid the barrel stave on the floor, put his hand in his pocket, took out $50, and gave it to her. The child took the money and slowly backed toward the door, never taking her eyes off the man whom she had just conquered. And after she had gone, the uncle sat down on a box and looked out the window into space for more than 10 minutes. He was pondering with awe over the whipping that he had just taken. Mr. Darby, too, was doing some thinking. That was the first time in all his experience that he had seen a black child or colored child deliberately master an adult white person. How did she do it? What happened to his uncle that caused him to lose his fierceness and to become as docile as a lamb? What strange power did this child use that made her master over her superior? What was it? It was persistence and it was desire. And why I love this story too. Hi, Harriet. Good morning. Hey, Peter. Good morning to you all. Let me just say good morning to my people. Good morning, Sanu. Hi. what I love about this story, especially for us in contemporary times, Black people in particular dealing with racism and so on, that you never ever, hey Cheryl, how are you? You never ever let anything around you get in the way. This is back in the day when racism was even more rampant than it was, very much more in the open. And this child, with the persistence and the desire that my mom has got to have that money, I'm not going anywhere, she was able to best him. And that is that is, I think, a moral for all of us as we look towards 2025. How are you going to leverage desire as that very first foundational quality attitude towards getting to your goals? You know, I always like to make it very customizable or customize what I say for women because we have so many things going on. I forgot to, like, I had this down for me to discuss yesterday and we never got to it, right? So, a lot of women, when we think about our goals, we give up on them for a couple reasons. Usually we have a lot more responsibility, don't we? Hey Clarita, I see you, girl. See you later. We have a lot more responsibility. Okay. And with that comes, obviously, if you're doing one thing, you can't do another thing. So we sacrifice a lot more. You've got family, you've got children. There, you have to take care perhaps of elderly parents and other relatives, all of the things. Another factor that I find comes into play when we talk about women and going after their goals is the lack of support, isn't it? You might have a partner who's not as visionary as you are. Loves you, yes, but very black and white perhaps and can't see it. And a lot of women like to rely on their partners for that inspiration or encouragement or not. At some point, you literally have to be the person who does it in spite of. And I think that's part of being a woman. As in that motivation has to come from within. That desire for a thing, it has to be so deeply tied to your values and what you see and how you see yourself that no matter who around you supports or not, you are going to be like, this kid, I've got to have it. I'm going to go forward and get it. Now, I'm just beginning the process. That's not all you need. As we go on in the weeks ahead and leading up to the our what you call it our workshop on the 24th of November, as we go ahead, then you're going to learn more about that process, okay? The process of moving from desire to motivation to literally planning very strategically to go after your goals. Most people don't do it, but I'm going to teach you how. So I hope you attend. You can already go and register for the workshop. I put the link in the chat. Maybe I should do that again because I think it's very important that people come out and that you get ready. The world is not getting any better. And I know I come on here all nice and inspirational on a morning, but it really is very strategic to do that because I know that we're combating a lot in life right now. Yes, we are. But you know what? This is the day the Lord has made. Okay? This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and we will be glad in it. And I think having faith in God, as well as being wise in how you go about life, makes it all worth it and gives you the ability to be successful. So let's move on. The other story that I want to speak about is also from this book. Go get the book, Think and Grow Rich. Lots of people, when you hear millionaires and so on speak about how they started, a lot of people got their mindset shifted by first reading this book. Another one that they always talk about, I myself have also read it, is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Those kinds of books help you, okay? Very, very true. So another story that he points to, and I want to speak about the impossibility, because we don't even start to think about things because even before we start, we think it's impossible. You don't even give yourself the permission to dream. And Napoleon Hill tells the story of his own son, and this is definitely in the chapter on desire. He tells the story of his own son who was born without ears, no apparatus to hear. Okay, so the question is, why not simply accept what life has given you. But Napoleon Hill taught his son, you know what, you're going to be normal. And he was determined. The desire was so deep that one day my son is going to hear. And the way it happened is so strange that you have to see that it rolled out because he first started from this is possible. Life will make a way if I believe it. Okay. And so what happened is this kid did not go to any school for the deaf. He went to regular school, much to the anger of his teachers, who perhaps had to speak very loudly to, get him or go close so that he could read their lips, that kind of thing. And then life continues for this young boy. He becomes very self-sufficient at being able to survive. One day, they discover that literally, I think some vibration, he could literally hear if things vibrated on the membranes somewhere in his head. Okay. I'm not doing a good job with this story, but go read it, please. And what happens is this boy who had no apparatus and no way of hearing ends up with some kind of instrument that was developed by a company, and he then hears his mom's voice. He hears for the first time, and Napoleon Hill asked the question, basically, if I had not believed, and if I had not had that desire when nothing around me said that I could, would my son Blair is his name, would Blair have ever gone down that trajectory, that path of being able to hear? The kid ends up able to hear. The kid goes on to be the spokesperson, spokesperson for that hearing aid, and helps other people to be able to hear. You know what? Here's another story of desire. Let me see if I have it. One of my favorite. Oh, hang on for me, you guys. No, you guys have to see it. I have to tell you all about this book because we're talking about desire this morning and dialing in on your desire for your own goals in 2025. You have to start there. You have to take the time all weekend. All weekend. I need you to be thinking about what if. What if this can happen? Hey, Martha Shop, how are you? Good morning. Blessed, peaceful day, she says. Thank you for being here. Okay. So there's another book. You see this book? 9 to 5 Millionaire. Don't quit your day job. Now, that's another part of the book, and I speak about it. I have a podcast, by the way. You can go on Basement Chronicles. Wherever you get podcasts, go look for Basement Chronicles, okay? I'm coming back, just regrouping and everything, right? But we have more than 5,000 downloads right now. I'm so happy for the support of everybody. So go support the podcast and get value from there as well. Yeah, I've been busy. I'm just getting started. In this book, this guy had 2 kids, 2 girls, and he wanted a son. You know how they tell you, delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart? This guy is a very good example of it. How is it you have 2 children, right? You just decide that you want a third one and you want a boy too besides. Okay? And everybody said to him, you know what? You already have 2. Some people don't have any. He's like, this is my desire. I know the God that I serve. I'm going to get a son. How? Kids don't just drop from the sky. How do you determine the gender of a kid and determine if you're going to get it? So many people are trying. Anywho, he and his wife begin trying to have this third child. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years pass. No sign of getting pregnant anymore. And this is especially for those people who are wanting to have children. This is very inspirational, and I think you should get the book. Do you guys want to see it again? Here it is. Let me just put it up here. Okay. I'm so excited. Look at the time already, but we're going to get through. The 9 to 5 Millionaire. Go get this book on Amazon. It's by Jamal King. And what happened is, instead of being discouraged, the desire to have his son was so strong that after the 3rd year, he did not give up. He doubled down. So he's a developer. And so he talks about real estate and how it's a vehicle to wealth in this book as well. Okay. But that part of the story is Jamal King goes and builds a room for his son. Did you hear me? No sign of a child. 3 years in, most people would give up. No. He doubles down because he says, you know what? I know the God that I serve, and I'm going to do the things that you do when you believe. So he built a room for the child. He put a urinal in the room. He put clothes in the drawers. And he said in the book, I forgot what chapter it is, but go read it. Just get the book and you'll find it. Okay. And in one of my podcast episodes, I think it's either in episode 20. It must be in episode 20. I speak about Jamal King and the 9 to 5 millionaire. So go check it out. Either episode 20 or episode 30. What happens, what I do is every 10 episodes, I look at a book that has changed my life in the podcast. And you wouldn't believe like that. Those episodes are usually the most subscribed to, I guess, well, for whatever reason, I am grateful. Anyway, so he doubles down. He does all the things. He starts to confess the word of God. He sits in the room in the rocking chair, imagining talking to the child who has not made its way into this sphere of life. How many people would have given up? All of his family said, "You've got 2 children. Be satisfied." He's like, "No, I'm going to God like that favored child." I always like to say that. Go to God like the favored daughter and ask for what you want. Stick your thumb in your mouth. Yes, I want this, Lord. Thank you. Anyway, 7 years later, the wife gets pregnant. You heard how long this guy prayed, doubled down on desire, and acted on what he thought. 7 years. She gets pregnant. And he said he didn't even need to go find out what the sex of the child was. No, he didn't need to. He knew that he was having a son. And guess what he had? Most people would say, yes, he had the son. And there's a line in the book. I wish that I could find it. It's probably here. There's a line in the book where he says almost like it was that process of faith, and we can say desire, that ushered this child into this physical realm. What does that tell you? When I read that, one of the reasons that this book really struck me was because it articulated for me that whole process of faith, that process of it's already there. It is your faith, your desire, your persistence that is going to usher it in to this realm, because you don't just live in just black and white, a physical realm. This is also spiritual. It really is. And when he said that, almost like, you think of the things that you want and how you want to go about doing life, and some things seem impossible. And I'm not saying it's just a matter of confessing. No, you absolutely also need to put things in place, because he did all the things that he was supposed to. But it started with that sense of, I'm going to get from God what I said I wanted. What about you with your desire? I want to end. We have a couple things for us to do. I want to end with one of my favorite poems from I forgot his first name, but his last name is Rittenhouse. It's also in the book Think and Grow Rich. And it speaks about expanding your capacity to dream, expanding your ability to ask more of life. And that starts with desire. Are you ready for the poem? This is the poem. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. Sorry. For life, let me just start again. That was not very nice, not very smooth. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is a just employer. He gives you what you ask. But once you have set the wages, why? You must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire. That means I worked for pennies. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. I want to say that last verse again. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. So, what are you asking of life today? Hey, Jasmara, how are you? That's my Instagram crew signing in there. My question to you is, what are you asking of life? Are you just going with the flow? Are you just basically going with what life said you should have in your capacity at your coordinates, maybe being female, being black, white, Asian, Filipino, whatever, whoever is listening? Are you just going with the prescriptions that life has given you? Or are you taking the time to desire things so deeply that you end up with the extraordinary? What's it going to look like for you? Right. Hey, Giselle, good morning to you. Nice to see you. Good morning to you. We have to dream big, and that starts with desire. Now, I know the next question is obviously, Lisa, yes, I can have desire, but then how am I going to bring it to pass? That's where I come in. That's the kind of work that we do. I do it privately as a coach, I do it in my group sessions, and you're going to learn about it right here. So let's talk now. Let's put action to what you're starting to think about, okay? This on the 24th of, let me just remove the comments. On the 24th of November, I want you to join me so I can help you to dream. I'm very good at doing that. That's why I'm here. Right? Yes, thank you. Clarita says powerful indeed. This workshop on the 24th is going to be fire. I've added to it over the years. I've been doing this workshop since 2020. That was the first one. New year, new goals. And the tagline, what if 2025 was the year that you crushed your most important goals? Please go sign up for it. I don't care what maybe life looks very bleak for you right now. All the more reason that you should sign up for this workshop, because it really is going to help you to see the possibilities and to make plans for them. Because a lot of people have the desire and nothing ever happens. That's why gyms, I always point to that example. Gyms are full come January 1. By March 31, and that's what they're counting on too, because they're not counting on you following through or having the desire to continue and the motivation, because you don't ever do workshops like this, but you will this time. Because maybe it is that you want to make exercise. I love to take that example because it's a very simple one. You want to make exercise something that you do regularly, but you just can't seem to get past March, or you can't seem to get past a couple of weeks. You know why? Because it's not a value for you. So you have to find, and you have to be able to link exercise to what is exactly a value for you. It might be family. So, for example, if you don't exercise and move your body, a couple things will happen. You are more susceptible to lifestyle diseases. When you are susceptible to lifestyle diseases, you are not going to be able to be around long term for your family. Would you like that? I thought family was a value. By constantly linking your new desire to your values and reminding yourself why you want to do it every single day, that's how you get through. But we're going to do more. I hope you're interested. I hope you go sign up already. If you signed up for my stuff before, yes, you should be in the room. Of course, it's for you. Come on, okay? I want to tell you about a couple things coming up. First of all, as you know, I'm partnering right now with Watch Radio. I want to support my people here. And so now Watch Radio, that has over 1 million plus viewership. And I can tell you, like almost every week now, my numbers just go up on YouTube. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I realized it's because I've got a bigger platform now. So Watch Radio is offering 60% off on advertising. And remember, you want to put your advertising dollars where they make sense. With 1 million plus viewership every month, then you're able to see that, yes, if you advertise with them, whether you are a business, a promoter, an artist, or organization, and more, then your dollars are going to go further. And here's another thing. It's not just for the Caribbean. They also reach across the diaspora. They are located in New York, the Watch Radio family. And so they reach across the diaspora. You have the Caribbean, Canada, the UK, the US, and more. So you want to be able to partner with them, come on board. The numbers are there, 347-392-8282, or email them, follow them also on Facebook, and you can get in with the family. That's very, very powerful, to be able to have that kind of access, which it just never occurred to me to do this kind of thing. Oh my goodness. So now it's good. You guys, last thing is this. Oh my goodness. On the 31st of October, that happens to be my birthday. It happens, yeah, October 31st. So I'm like, you know what? It's my birthday. I get to decide what to call the day. So we're going to call it Hallowed Be Thy Name Day. Okay? That's what it is. It's not whatever. It's Hallowed Be Thy Name Day. And I will be releasing this book called Worship at Midnight, A Call to Deeper Intimacy and Accelerated Breakthroughs. More on what's going to be happening on that night later, but I thought I should perhaps tell you about it already. It's going to be available on Kindle, on Kindle, and also as paperback and hard copy. You will be able to order it on Amazon. That's where it is from. Soon I'll be able to have copies on my website and put together a package, but I just simply needed to make sure by my birthday, October 31, this very powerful book was in your hands. And I want to tell you what the book is about. And then we're going to end for today. I'm just going to read the blurb. Okay. The darkest time of the night is midnight. This is exactly halfway between sunset and sunrise. This is also the time when the enemy releases accelerated attacks against unsuspecting and slumbering humans. Worship at midnight, a call to deeper intimacy and accelerated breakthroughs, is a call to worship and war during the third watch of the day, 12 a.m. to 3 a.m., because it is also the best time to get intimate with God and get accelerated answers to your prayers. Many of us face midnights in our lives, seasons when it seems as if all hell has been unleashed over our minds, livelihoods, relationships, health, finances, family. When the battle is unusually fierce, you need to employ extreme war strategies, and midnight worship is one such weapon. This book will teach you the principles of worshiping at midnight. You will learn why it is effective, how to pray, worship, and war at midnight. You will receive divine revelation and strategies to win your biggest battles and learn how to discern God's voice. Like when you are in a fierce fight for your life, you need to fight fiercely with all your life. Okay. So this is what the book will be about. And this, I don't know that I've ever been so violent in a book. Um, but where prayer and things of God are concerned, we need strategy, and there's power there. And the last year or so, God has already been leading me in midnight worship. It's very powerful for those of you who've done it. Worship at midnight, pray at midnight. It is a strategy to help us to win in this very dark time that we live. And in this book that I'm releasing on October 31, please go follow me. It's not the only book that I have. You see these books in the back there? These are also mine. I'll tell you more about it. We're just setting things up properly. But I've been writing. You can go follow me on Amazon as an author there. And this book you can buy beginning on October 31. That is Hallowed Be Thy Name Day. Okay, we're naming it today. It's called Hallowed Be Thy Name Day. Nothing else. Nothing else. All right, you guys, we are over time, but thank you for being here. Also, if you're watching this on the replay, type replay so we can get an idea of the numbers later on. It's going to be scheduled to come on at 4 p.m. MST, which is 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's also going to be available for replay right away on Instagram. Thank you. And don't forget, this weekend, all you're doing is desiring, is dreaming so widely and so vastly that you will be ready for what I have to offer in terms of going after your goals next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'll see you then. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.